How firm a foundation He saves us.
Welcome to the Bible Makes Us Baptist podcast with Pastor Ellis from the Poteau Valley Baptist Church, Poteau, Oklahoma. And now here's Pastor Mickey Ellis.
All right, hey there, everybody. It's Thursday, the 20th of February, and we're dealing with not being brought under the power of any type of substance, and we're giving you some Bible words. And so far this week, we've given you the word soberness, and again, you got to go back and look up these verses. Abstinence. Yesterday we dealt with testimony. I want to try to cover two of them today because we only have today and tomorrow, and I don't want to drag this out another week. And so the word I'm going to deal with today is found in 1 Corinthians chapter number 9, beginning in verse number 24, and that word is temperance. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse number 24, Scripture says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that you may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I not as one that beateth the air, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. I myself should be a castaway." Temperance. Temperance means to exercise self-control. It is already hard enough to remain in control of our emotions and lusts without interference of controlling substances. I think you would honestly answer and affirm that as well. Many people remove self-control from many of these drugs and so forth, remove self-control from the one who partakes of it. And what happens is the drug or the beer or whatever it is becomes the master. Now, a lot of them will boast and beat on their chest and say, "I've got control, I've got power, I can give it up." But the truth is this: if they're under the influence, they have become a cheap slave to that substance. I want you to consider that for just a moment. If you've got some kind of substance that's controlling you, you are now the slave. It is now the master. It is in control. Solomon told his son that the person who finds himself, listen, go to Proverbs 23. I referred to this a day or two ago. Proverbs chapter number 23. What you'll find here, Solomon tells his son that the person who finds himself under the power of wine or mixed wine, okay, which would be today wine coolers and what's this stuff, spiked tea and spiked soda. I can't remember. They sell it. It's got a little bit of tea, a little bit of liquor in it, and so forth. That's mixed wine. He said that those people will lose control of their emotions, of their speech, of their balance, of their lusts, and of their common sense. Proverbs 23, let me read this real quickly here. This is verse 29 through 35. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wombs without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. Why? Because he's under control of it. He's under control of it. Temperance. And then wisdom. You're in Proverbs. Turn back a couple chapters to chapter number 20. Chapter number 20, Proverbs 20, and the first verse there says, "Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. And whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise." The fifth word I'm going to point out is the word wisdom. Now, let me ask you a question. Is it a wise thing to partake of intoxicants? Is it wise? I don't think you have to be a Bible-believing Christian to know the answer to that. Listen to this. I'm going to give you a list of how the Bible describes a drunkard. Okay, and I'm going to give you the verses. I'm not going to read all these verses. I will go to Ephesians 5 in just a moment. I'd encourage you to turn there. But let me just give you this description and the verse reference, and you can look them up later there, or pause each one and look it up to make sure I'm telling the truth here. But here's how God describes a drunkard, okay? And we're dealing with the word wisdom, okay? And I want you to think about how wise this sounds. Okay, the Bible describes a drunkard as staggering, Job 12:25. Poverty, Proverbs 23:21. Bloodshot eyes, Proverbs 23:29. We just read that. Confused, Proverbs 23:34. The slowing of the thought process, Proverbs 31:4 and 5. A lack of feeling, Proverbs 23:35. Forgetfulness, Proverbs 31:6 and 7. Stupor, Jeremiah 51:39. And now I'll give you one more here. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse number 5 says the drunkard is proud and arrogant. Now here's my question. Do these sound anything like a wise person? Do these sound anything like a holy person? I think you know the answer to that. Ephesians chapter 5 and beginning in verse number 11 says, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. Notice this. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. We'll wrap this up tomorrow. We'll see you there.
Join us next time for The Bible Makes Us Baptist podcast with Pastor Mickey Ellis. For questions or comments, go to podovalley.baptist.com/contact.